Today, we're going to talk about the story of Dubai. It's just an incredible tale of how a city went from this quiet trading post to a global symbol of the future, and it did it all in just a couple of decades.
So how did they pull that off? I mean, how does this city manage to hold on to its soul while basically reaching for the stars? That's really the big question we're going to dig into here.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll start with the city's historic heart. Then, we're going to soar to the top of its most famous tower. After that, we'll see how it's planning for a greener future. And finally, we'll ask, what's next for a city that's always reinventing itself?
Right, so our story actually begins not with all the gleaming skyscrapers, but in these narrow, winding alleyways of the Al Fahidi historical neighborhood. This is the original soul of the city.
And this slide just perfectly captures the two Dubais we're exploring. On one side, you've got the really intimate human scale of Al-Bastakia, built over a century ago. And on the other, you have the just mind-bending vertical ambition of the Burj Khalifa. They feel like they're from different planets, but somehow they both define the exact same city.
So what exactly is Al-Bastakia? Well, it was founded way back in the 1890s. It was the original hub for commerce, built by these wealthy Persian merchants who saw Dubai as a place full of opportunity. This was really the foundation of the city's entire identity as a place of trade.
But, this piece of history was almost completely erased. By the 1980s, half the district was already gone, and the rest was set to be demolished. But then, in 1989, Britain's Prince Charles was scheduled for a visit. This sparked a campaign to save the area. He walked through the neighborhood and apparently suggested it should be preserved. And just like that, the demolition was canceled. Today, it stands as this amazing testament to a history that was almost wiped out.
Okay, so let's jump from how Dubai preserved its past to how it built this absolute icon of the future. We are talking, of course, about the Burj Khalifa.
So here's the crucial thing to understand. The Burj Khalifa was never just about being tall. As this quote gets at, it was a very deliberate strategy. The whole point was to announce Dubai's arrival on the world stage with an architectural statement that nobody, and I mean nobody, could possibly ignore.
And this wasn't just for show. Not at all. It was the centerpiece of a massive and pretty urgent economic shift. See, Dubai's leadership knew that an economy built on oil wasn't going to last forever. So to secure the future, they had to build a new one, based on tourism, finance, and services. The Burj Khalifa was basically the giant, shiny anchor for that entire vision.
And the scale of that vision was just breathtaking. 828 meters. It blew past the previous world's tallest building by a huge margin.
It essentially became a vertical city, with a world record-breaking 163 stories.
An ambition like that, well, it doesn't come cheap. We're talking an investment of $1.5 billion. And the human effort it took to make it a reality was just monumental. It took 22 million man-hours from a workforce that was pulled together from all over the globe.
Now, this is a really fascinating piece of the story, and it's all about the name. See, the tower was originally supposed to be called Burj Dubai, but its completion happened right around the 2008 global financial crisis. Abu Dhabi stepped in with critical financial aid, and so, in a gesture of gratitude, the tower was renamed at its opening ceremony to honor the UAE president, Sheikh Khalifa. Its name is literally part of the region's economic history.
So, Dubai had put itself on the map, for sure. It had started to diversify its economy. But a new global challenge was on the horizon, one that would require a totally different kind of ambition. And this brings us to the city's latest reinvention, its big pivot toward building a sustainable, climate-resilient future.
At the very heart of this shift is the Dubai 2040 Urban Master Plan. And look, this isn't just some small adjustment. It is a fundamental reimagining of the city's entire landscape. The goals are massive, doubling green spaces and dedicating a full 60% of the Emirates' land to nature reserves. It's a vision of a giant metropolis that's deeply integrated with nature.
And this chart really shows you why this focus is so critical. Globally, urban development, that's buildings and construction, accounts for almost 40% of all carbon emissions. So for a city that has literally defined itself through spectacular construction, tackling this isn't just an option, it's an absolute necessity. This focus is also backed by a huge national commitment. The entire country is aiming for net zero status by 2050. That means removing as much carbon from the atmosphere as it puts in. And that goal is driving change across every single sector, especially in real estate and development.
And this isn't just some top-down government policy. You've got major private developers like Union Properties who are putting green initiatives right at the core of their strategy.
They recognize that sustainability is absolutely key to their long-term growth and resilience. So, from preserving its heritage to building the world's tallest tower to now pioneering a greener future, what does all this constant evolution really tell us about Dubai?
Well, we've seen a city that's really been defined by these dramatic turning points, right? Its historic soul was saved because a visiting prince stepped in, its modern ambition was secured with help from a neighboring emirate during a global crisis, and now is trying to chart a course to become a model for sustainable city living in the face of a climate crisis.
You know, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that Dubai's true identity isn't really found in the sand or the steel. It's found in its capacity for constant, radical reinvention, usually in the face of enormous challenges. And that just leaves us with one final, fascinating question. What on earth will it do next?